is October 6th and 12 o'clock, almost exact. Perfect. And we're at the SRWA facility. So we're going to start off by confirmation of a quorum.
Confirmed.
Good. And moving on, any public comments?
No public comment.
Okay. Nobody feels like commenting? Never happens. Okay. So we'll move on to the agenda. First of all, the first action item is consideration and possible action on approval of the September 8, 2025 SRWA board meeting minutes.
I move to accept. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Item number 2, the general manager's report, and we'll start off with the operational, chemical optimization, and financial report. Mr. Galvin.
Good afternoon, Mr. President, members of the board. My name is Jacob Galvan, and I'll be presenting the production distribution report for the month ended August 31st, 2025. On tab 2 of your board binders, you'll find the SRWA water distribution summary and true-up estimate. And I'll start on column C, where we have the SRWA total distribution for the month. The year-to-date is 2,294.108 million gallons for a daily average of 6.848 million gallons. On column F, we have the BPV distribution. The year-to-date was 2,109.797 million gallons for a daily average of 6.298 million gallons. On column G, we have value mud number 2 distribution. The year-to-date was 57.31 million gallons for a daily average of 0.71 million gallons. On column H, we have the distribution for Los Fresnos. The year-to-date was 74.237 million gallons for a daily average of 2.22 million gallons. On column I, we have the credit for B&D. The year-to-date was 48.175 million gallons for a daily average of 0.144 million gallons. And on column J, we have the allocation for Indian Lake. The year-to-date was 4.589 million gallons for a daily average of 0.014 million gallons. Below, we have the true-up estimate, where BPV was under by 21.66 million gallons. Value mud number 2 was under by 0.27 million gallons. And the city of Los Fresnos was over by 21.93 million gallons. On the next page, we have the production and distribution costs and production for the month of August 2025. On the third column on the left, we have the SRWA total water produced. The total was 219.191 million gallons for a daily average of 7.071 million gallons. On the far column on the right, the last column, we have the total water distributed. The year-to-date was 221.334 million gallons for a daily average of 7.14 million gallons. Below, we have the chemical consumption costs, which was $133,000 with $63 with 64 cents. The electrical consumption cost was $109,348 with 41 cents. On the next page, we have events that reduce water production. We had 2 on August 6th. We had distribution crews completed a tie-in a 24-inch water line on Old Alice. This was a project that consisted of relocating that 24-inch water line, just in preparation for future expansion of the road that's there. And we were down for 4 hours for that project. On the 12th, we were down for 4 hours for plant maintenance repair on the chlorine dioxide. There was a leak on one of the chemical injection lines, so we needed to shut down to make that repair. It was a total of 4 hours. On the next page, we have the iron, manganese, and arsenic levels. On the point of entry, the iron, manganese, and arsenic were all under the MCLs. So you can see the dosages remain the same. Chlorine dioxide at 0.3, the SBS at 1.5, and the ferric at 1.3. Do you have any questions? If you have any questions, you feel free to stop me. I'm just kind of
Good.
going. All right, thanks. On the page behind that, we have the wells and the ROs that were in service at the time that the collection was taken for the samples. Here we have the manganese graph, right, where you could see that in August we cut the blend to 0. And right here we have the manganese levels. On this graph we have the arsenic graph, right, where we have the chlorine dioxide at 0.3 dosage, the ferric's at a 1.3 dosage, and the arsenic was a non-detect or under range, right? On this graph, we have a water production distribution for fiscal year 24 and 25. Here we have, on this page, we have a graph of the 3 water treatment plants for Bronzeville. And for the, on the bottom, you'll see SRWA contributed with 30.72% of Bronzeville's water demand. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Moving on to, this is perfect. The update on the discolored water.
We have the financial report first.
Oh,
Sorry
no,
about that.
we lied to everybody, we're gonna do the financial report. Yeah, no, I just said.
Good afternoon, Mr. President and members of the board. My name is Jorge Santillan, Finance Manager. We'll go over the authority's financial performance report as of August 31st, 2025. Beginning, we're going to be looking at the last column, beginning with line number 3, total operating revenues from member assessments, 7,150,633. Minus the line number 10, total operating expenses of 4,901,250. That results in an operating income of 2,249,383. Moving on to the following page. On the non-operating revenues and expenses, we add the line number 18, the net non-operating revenues, totaling 153,936. This results in income before capital contributions of 2,403,319. So that's the same amount as the change in net position. We add this amount to the net position at the beginning of the year of 24,534,856, and this results in a net position at the end of August 31st, 26,938,175. And the following 2 pages is a summary of all the expenses by expense type and by line item. Comparing budget to actuals. Any questions?
I think we're all set.
Thank you.
Now, we'll move on to the update on discolored water.
Yeah, Mr. President, members of the board, my name is Jaime Estrada. I'm the Director of Water Wastewater Operations. I provided you all a map. You should have it there. I don't have it up on the screen, but see if maybe y'all can follow along. These are for discolored water calls. On the map, I did provide the location of our water treatment plant number 1, number 2, and the transmission lines for those plants, as well as SRWA and the transmission lines coming out of SRWA. So if you look at the color coding for the number of calls, yellow being the most concentrated calls that came in. If you look at the map, it's mainly on the SRWA area. So from December 1st, 2024 through May 31st, 2025, we had a total of 275 discolored calls come in, discolored water calls come in. We had a lot more. There was about 616 total water call issues that we had, but we were able to put a filter in it where we could only pull out those that are distributed to discolored water. So we did stop blending August 5th, 2029, and between August 1st and September 30th, we had a total of 29 calls. 22 of those calls came in before we discontinued the blend. So it's all attributed to the same issue we were having during at that time frame. There were 7 calls that came in afterwards, and I believe those calls probably came in, they were just like residuals from the system. Me personally, I have a spigot I never use at the house. Sometimes I get discolored water out of that, no matter when I use it, and I have perfectly fine water inside the house. But we did go out to every single call. We did not find any issues in our system at that point for those 22 calls. We were okay, so I think it was mainly some residuals left in the households. So we continue to monitor these. Okay, so we're gonna continue basically making sure that we collect all the ones that are discolored water calls for the areas. We did have TCQ come down. There were some complaints were filed with the state. I'm gonna turn it over to Albert Gomez. He'll talk a little bit about those findings. But before I do y'all have any questions?
I do, and yeah, thank you for the clarification on before and after. I think we need to still track this because, you know, it looks like we had on average 34 calls per month before that. So the 29 calls after we discontinued, yeah, are within the standard deviation, I would guess. So knowing what that standard deviation on calls is might help us, will help us draw boundaries, see if we have an outlier event for next month, because yeah, we do want to make sure that discontinuing the blend is actually making a difference, and a significant difference at that. We need it to be yeah, significant. So okay, can you give us a little bit more information? 29 calls, all but 8 of them were after you discontinued the blend?
Well, yeah, it was before we stopped the blend. It was between August 1st and August 6th when those 22 calls came in. So we're kind of still working at it. And just so you'll know, the calls that came in, concentration-wise, I know we're averaging 34, but January, May, and June all had over 60 calls. The rest were in the 11, 23, 7, or some of them.
Okay, so the standard deviation is fairly significant. Sure. And that's good to know. Okay. So understanding, yeah, next month how this has changed is going to be extremely important because we got to verify that this is even making a difference in our discolored water issue. Then on top of that, can you tell me where those 8 calls were concentrated or spread uniformly throughout?
No, they were in the same area because there are some calls that are on the outliers in that area, but they're very small. But these 7 calls were from this Villa de los Pinos area.
Okay.
Close to the plant.
Okay. So.
Actually, all 29 calls were.
Okay.
And the manganese could have been in the transmission lines already and disrupted by pressure changes. So we did flushing, but that's not going to get all of the manganese out. So you're right, we'll continue to watch and see if, in fact, this is a positive trend.
Yeah, I mean, because the manganese is stuck in lines, as you suggested.
Right.
Yeah, we may need something more aggressive than flushing. It is not and pretty much originating from the plant, then we should see that in the data set.
Yes, if we're correct, we should continue to see this trend we've seen in the last couple of weeks, but we don't have enough data.
Right.
Yeah, we did go back to our normal flushing schedule, things of that nature. We are going to mimic, we're getting close to doing a mimic on the demand on the system again, and but this time controlled with our guys, and push out a lot of water here. Just be out there monitoring and see if there's any residual left in the lines. Hopefully, it's all been flushed out.
Great.
But we're going to continue that.
Okay. Good. Well, thank you.
Overwhelmed.
Good afternoon, Chairman and members of the board. We did include a water supply compliant report. It should be in your packet, which describes the complaint that we were notified from TCEQ. Actually, on the 29th, TCEQ notified us some water quality complaints in the Los Vecinos and SRWA La Grande Avenue. We did take some initial response, operations we did submit some operational records review. We did an operational records review, submitted that to them. There was no issues, no anomalies or violations noted. There was hydrant flushing, and we also had submitted our bacteriological testing, which was good and no issues there. On August 5th and September 8th, August 5th they came in and did the investigation on the Vecino subdivision. And on September 8th, the SRWA La Grande, they came out and did some sampling on those sites. Everything was good, chlorines were good, pressures were good. Basically, we got a good no findings, no violations from the GCQ, so.
Where is this subdivision located? Sorry.
Good question. Mostly, one of them is on the, I believe in the Brownsville Country Club. The Country Club, and then the Los Vecinos, I believe, is north of town. Yeah, up here.
Los Vecinos is part of the Los Pinos, right?
Is it
Off of-
Palomito with the big old yellow dash?
Yeah.
Okay.
Off of the sports park.
Okay, cool, great. Okay, well, I'm glad there were no findings. Does anybody have any questions? Real quick, actually, I do have one question. The pressure. So TCEQ doesn't test pressure at maybe local houses? And was that the difference between the two?
I believe they just checked the pressure there like at a fire hydrant or something.
Just at the fire
Yeah.
hydrants, got it. Just
Not
curious.
at the residential, yeah.
Okay, great, thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, so moving on, a drought update.
Morning, Mr. President, members of the board. My name is Simon Flores. I'm the Water Resources Administrator. I'll be giving you the drought update. I'm happy to say we were at a 27% U.S. combined ownership on Amistad and Falcon reservoirs. We've been at 25% since July 19th. So it's been holding for a couple of months now. As you can see, our previous readings, September 6th was 26.1%. September 13th was 26.4%, and September 20th, 26.5%. So it's been a steady trend. And we've been noticing these rains over the last couple of months, 2 or 3 months, have actually been making the reservoir levels go up. National Weather Service October to December 2025 outlook for the Lower Rio Grande Valley and Deep South Texas region. Expected normal to warmer than normal temperatures to persist through autumn 2025. Precipitation odds trends will begin dropping across much of the region. The odds for dryness expanding over deep South Texas through December are increasing. And the combined share of water in Amistad and Falcon should continue at or below stage 2 until further notice. Any other questions?
That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, we're at the moment to recess to close. So we're going to recess to close meetings to consider matters pursuant to Texas Government Code Chapter 551. I think there's supposed to be some other numbers after that, but at this time, the items on the agenda designated for closed meeting will be considered. If there's an approved motion to go to closed meeting, and the listeners will be placed on hold until the board returns to open meeting. And I read what we're talking about. Presentation, discussion, and possible recommendation to address an unsolicited offer by Military Highway Water Supply Corporation to purchase an easement for water supply purpose from the Brownsville Public Utility Board on SRWA property. And this is Cameron County Property ID 140295, used for a well site. section 551.071 and section 551.072. So if we do this, we will move to the boardroom just down the hall, and everybody else will stay here.
Need a motion?
But we do need a motion to do
I
it.
move to recess to close meeting.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed.
The time is 12:21.
Okay. So, oh, I gotta wait till he is up. We have left closed, and it is 12:45, and I will entertain a motion to start the regular meeting again.
Reconvene our regular meeting and recess out of our closed meeting.
Okay, and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so that concludes all the items for today.
No action was taken in closed session, and none is required in open.
Okay, great. And now, so now, consideration and action on future agenda items. So, anybody have any thoughts? I think there's calendar in back. It's the,
Yes, the calendar is noted on here, and you'll have here the next SRWA board meeting is scheduled for Monday, November the 3rd, followed by the DPD board meeting on November the 10th.
right? So, with that in mind,
I move to adjourn.
Second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye.